I think we're live. How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Guys, it's our favorite night of the week. Welcome to episode number 53 of How About That Cigar Live. We are here in Minnesota in the Drew Estate Cigar Studios, as always, brought to you by Drew Estate, and they would like to unveil the 2020 Herrera Esteli TAA exclusive release. It is a 6x52 Toro featuring a rich Connecticut broadleaf wrapper, bold Brazilian Matafina binder, and lush Nicaraguan fillers. Blended by Drew Estate Master Blender Willie Herrera exclusively for the TAA. This cigar is a testament to the complexity and quality behind the Herrera Esteli line. This line and all of the other TAA exclusives the Herrera Esteli TAA exclusive is packaged in 12-count boxes with a total of 800 boxes produced. For more info on that, please visit drewestate.com. Garrett, how's the lockdown treating you?
What? Wait, what? Where am I?
Do you know what? I don't even know what day it is. The other day I've seen so many posts about this, but on social media, but it seriously feels like it is it's like the COVID-19th of quarantineary whatever.
Yep.
I seriously over the weekend, I didn't even know what day it was. I almost went on Saturday morning to go log onto my computer and fire up the VPN and go start working because I literally didn't realize it was Saturday.
It totally throws you off. Yeah. I mean, my schedule, my everything, and then anytime you're working with a family within your house, it's just crazy.
So where we're sitting right now for the podcast, for those of you guys watching and listening, this is actually the same setup that I use, not the cameras and all that stuff, but this is basically where I work. This is my home office too. It's a little corner of my garage, and I've got a bunch of monitors and, my computer and everything set up here. So this is actually where I work during the day too. But I've got my 3 kids in there working. My wife, Amy, is also inside working during the days. And so we're all in this house together, everybody's got their own classwork. My wife, in addition to working full-time, teaching online through this new experience that we all have to learn about, she is also finishing up her master's degree program. So she's a superhero basically, but she's, we're all just working so incredibly hard. And, for those of you out there, we've talked about it for the last couple shows. Just be safe, stay, do the whole social distancing thing and just be safe. Don't lick doorknobs. Don't lick doorknobs.
Wouldn't do that.
Yeah, that's a bad idea.
Wouldn't do that.
If you're going to, make sure it's organic, free range,
cage free. Yep.
Yeah. But just stay safe. Keep smoking your cigars and enjoying that. There's a lot of VHERFs, whether it's Zoom or Facebook. You can get together with people, and still enjoy good conversation, good drinks, good cigars. So keep doing that, guys. Get out there on social media in your local groups or even some of these international groups. Get together and smoke with people because we don't want this cigar culture that was already kind of on fragile ground. We don't want the cigar culture to decline in any way. Let's turn this into, turn the lemons into lemonade and make this, something that actually strengthens the cigar culture instead of weakens it. So guys, we want to get into our feature segment. We got a great lineup of guests tonight. Before we get into that, let's talk about the company that sponsors our feature segment every week, Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com. They are the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. At Corona Cigar Company, they take pride in being cigar fanatics just like you and me. And there you will also find unique and limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, president and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Mr. Jeff Borshowitz, believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. For more info on all of that, please visit coronacigar.com and floridasungrown.com. So, guys, those of you watching and listening, as always, take a second, share this out to your favorite Facebook cigar groups. If you have any questions or comments, leave those, and we're going to put those up on screen as we go along. This night was pretty sweet. We've got not one, not two, but we've got 3 special guests on the show. Every year, they have a special, festival that they put on for the last couple of years, and they call it Quarantineapalooza. And it seemed only fitting to me that we call this episode number 53 of How About That Cigar, that we call this Quarantineapalooza. So please, from Espinosa Cigars, please welcome to the show Eric Espinosa, Jack Tarano, and Hector Alfonso Sr. Gentlemen, welcome to Quarantineapalooza.
Quarantineapalooza. I like it.
and it's been 4, not 2.
It's been 4. Okay. So we appreciate you guys being on the show. I know you guys have had a lot of time on podcasts and VHERFs and things going on in Facebook for the last couple of weeks. How are you guys?
I can't hear you guys.
How are you guys holding up during all this, all this craziness that we find ourselves in right now?
Eric is saying he can't hear us.
I can't hear.
You can't hear us, Eric?
Anything?
Nothing?
You can't hear me, Eric?
But you know what?
All right, hold on. I'm going to do this.
And he's gone.
Now can you hear us?
There he is.
Eric,
Are you back?
Now? Bro.
I don't hear.
He can't hear us now. This is live, people. This is what happens when you're live.
We've been talking for half an hour without a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, before we went live, we've seriously been talking for. Yeah, I was just going to suggest that he drop out and come back in, and hopefully that will take care of it.
He did say if he dropped out, we'd probably lose him.
Yeah.
Well, let's get started by. I want to tell you guys what we are smoking. Garrett was kind enough to provide us with some lovely cigars this evening, and you guys probably recognize
the 93 rated Warzone.
The 93 rated.
93. Let me get this out of the way.
The top Cameroon in the industry this year.
The top Cameroon industry this year. I'm just saying.
Yo, when'd you know it? As soon as we started, bro, I got a phone call, messed everything up.
You got
that's his problem, bro.
So you got a phone call, and that's what killed your audio?
That's what killed my audio. I don't know why. I had to get off and get back on. What did I miss?
Oh,
they're smoking the Warzone.
Yeah, we're smoking. About to fire up the Warzone right now.
Nice.
You got 93 reasons to light it up tonight.
Absolutely. So tell us a little bit about the Warzone and the history.
You want me to go, or who do you want to go?
It's Espinosa Cigars. Come on, player. Come on, let's go, baby.
You know, it's funny. Us 3, we had each of us had a big part in it because Jack had a relationship with General, and and Hector blends our cigars, and they want to do a collaboration with us and all that. And I've never worked with Cameroon. Hector's never worked with Cameroon, and Justin Andrews, he's the one that does Diesel. I don't know if you guys know who he is.
Oh yeah,
great guy. He wanted to do something together. And we had never worked with that Cameroon before, and there's a couple versions of Cameroons out there. We wanted the best possible Cameroon we can get. Now this stuff ain't cheap. This stuff is expensive, and they wanted a Cameroon cigar. So, we decided, we went down there, they were impressed because the guy that does our cigars, our partner down there, he's been making, him and his dad, they got about 70 years of experience, making cigars. And they went down there. They were amazed on everything we were able to do. He didn't even need a roller, a mold, anything like that. When we were making the cigars, and he's freaking everybody out. And and it took us a while. It took us a while to blend that because we've never, we never used that wrapper before. It was the first time I ever used it. Hector ever used it. And through the relationship that Jack put together with us, and this is what we created, and we were ecstatic. I mean, they chose us. It's very flattering, a big company like that, and it was great. They sold out of it, quickly. Of course, they have a huge distribution. Look, we're no dummies here. Look, for them to make us a cigar, for us to distribute it, they have so much bigger channels of distribution than we do. So I told him, look, we'll make it. You guys distribute it, you know. And so it worked out, you know. And you never know, you know, after this 93 rating, you know, in the Cigar Aficionado, hey, you know,
Might be a second order coming soon.
might be, you know, because it's a limited thing, you know, and maybe we could do another size or a limited size. I don't know. I don't know what could come out of this, but
well, and
it was.
That's one of the things I've heard about from other people who've worked with Cameroon before, is because it's hard to get your hands on it. And so therefore, a lot of times you're going to be limited in the amount of sticks that you're going to be able to roll, you know?
Yeah, but I'm going to be honest with you. We were lucky. I mean, we're dealing with General. I mean, General has tobacco. I mean, and that's probably going to be the understatement of the show tonight. They have tobacco. For us, you know, like Eric said, the continuity of the relationship with Jack coming from General, Eric being Eric, you know, fostering the negotiation and charming the pants off of, you know, and they were ecstatic to work, very happy to work with us, and we were too. I mean, and a chance to work with tobacco I've never worked with before was great. So I mean, it really worked out for all of us, and it's you know, and it's not just the three that you have on here. You know, our sales team, you know, our sales team, upsettingly, because they couldn't get a chance to sell it because it was a General sold it. Junior, who worked on the concept of the art and the design stuff, finding the artist. I'm telling you, it was a big change for us because we're a small company. We make quick and fast decisions. They're a little bit bigger than we are, but you know, it was good. It coalesced very well.
But they were great about it, though. The truth is, it was a pleasure working with them. You know, the ones that gave us a little bit more hard time was actually the factory, which, you know, even though they own the factory, but you're not dealing with the higher ups in general down in the factory, you know, because they got to make cigars too, you know. So you know, but you know, dealing with all the guys in general, I didn't think it would go down that easy, you know, that work that smooth, you know, because, you know, they're more like corporate America. But all the decisions, you know, everything we showed them, let's go. You like it? Yeah, we like it. Let's roll with it, you know. And it was a big success, you know, and it opened a lot of doors for us, and vice versa. Listen, there's boutique stores that don't carry their product, you know. You know, there's a lot less of those stores that don't, you know. But it opened doors for us. It really did. And you know, those guys they came, you know, because we went to the TPE. There was guys that I never know who they were, you know, stores. Oh, you the guy that made that Warzone? Like, wow, bro, that's great, bro. That thing flies off my shelf and stuff. I want to get more. And I said, well, you got to talk to those guys, not me. I mean, we just made it, you know. We were to sell it.
And
know?
even the rollout was great.
I'll tell you the funniest thing today when I saw the 93 rating, and last year I was a part of it for the first time. Espinosa has 3 really top 15s in Cigar Aficionado in the last 5 years.
That's right.
So I was a part of that, losing sleep in mid-December when the ratings were coming out daily. Yeah. You know, we ended up with number 11 with Habano. And my first thought today when the 93 came out, okay, there goes sleep in December.
Yeah.
We're going to be sweating it again in December, which is a lot of fun.
It's not just losing sleep. It's my stomach is killing me. You know, I haven't been able to. I'm not hungry, or I can't keep it down. It's ridiculous every year. But hey, you know what? It's a good problem to have. I'm sure that we won't trade it for anything right now. No. And let me tell you what, the Warzone rollout was great too. We rolled out Warzone right in the middle of Zonapalooza when we had the majority of the media guys there. We had all the biggest social media guys that are big supporters of our brand there. I mean, I have no doubt, and I can say this honestly, that we own social media.
Why don't you guys go to Zonapalooza?
Well, Hector was very kind to give us an invite last year. We couldn't make it happen just because we're one of the newer guys out there in cigar media, and we still getting our feet under us. But if the invite's still open, we would love to join you guys this year. So we'll.
It all depends on the Corona.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
And I'm not talking about your sponsor, Corona, the store.
It's Rona, our buddy Rona.
Yeah.
I'm already working it out. They can sleep in Coop's car at least. If they can't find a room, they can sleep in Coop's car. So it'll be all cool. We'll make it work.
So, do you guys have a favorite Vitola in the Warzone?
Well,
Yeah, there's only one.
No, there's
There's
two.
two.
there's 52. I mean, I like the, believe it or not, I like the Toro, but the Robusto seems to the Robusto seems to
Yeah,
have been
I like the Robusto. I'm usually a Toro guy, but I like the Robusto more.
Here's the thing: what happened to us? What happened was that we made the samples all in Robustos. Okay, not the samples for them to taste, the samples that they handed out to all the reps. So we had a lot more Robustos than we had the Toro. Outside of Nicaragua, I didn't taste the Toro. You know, I never even got to taste it because the order came in and went out, and you know, until I got it in a store. But you know, I had tried it when we were making it, but outside of that, we smoked more Robustos than anything else, and I guess that's the one I like the most because we smoked so many of them, you know. So that's what happened to me. I don't know about you, Hector.
Yeah,
Jack.
I like the Toro. I'm just a Toro, but it shows you, just like in life, an inch is a big deal. Did you see it?
I don't have that problem.
No, but it's this. This is the backward. This is where the smaller one got the better, or the one with less inchage got better ratings. So I mean, you know,
Hold on. Let me call my wife a second. Give me a second.
so we got it.
No, don't come. Don't embarrass me. Stay with us.
We got a question from a viewer here. Quentin wants to know: is this a one and done? I assume he's talking about the Warzone. Is it a one and done, or will there be future products? And probably, I think he's referring to future projects with General, partnering with them in some way.
I'll answer that. Listen, the truth is, yes, it is a one and done. That's the way it worked out. You know, those sizes. You look, you know, knowing those guys there, you know, integrity is a lot. So we said that, you know, that we're not gonna, you know, that, you know, now if we do other sizes, you know, maybe. Well, why not? You understand? If it worked, do you understand what I'm saying? Continue doing it, but you know, that's what we actually talked about that today. You know, if it's up to me, I mean, look, we did tell everybody it was a limited, but it was only limited because that was the deal. It's not that we couldn't get tobacco for it, because we can't get that Cameroon. They're the only company, I think, in the world that has that quality grade. You know, the real stuff. And you see those, and I forget the guy's name. Jack, do you remember the guy that did the seminar at Quarantineapalooza?
I wish I did.
I always forget his name, but he was spectacular, and he showed us how he grew in the, you know, and these little huts where people lived and all that, where they grew the tobacco. And if you see it, it's got like these little white specks. Some of them do, you know, on the wrapper outside, and you know, and we said it was going to be a limited. You know, we don't know what's going to happen, but you know, it's nothing's on concrete. Ernest, yes, Justin just texted me. It was
Ernest.
Yeah, Ernest, great guy, very, very knowledgeable guy.
And there's Justin Andrews.
There's Justin Andrews.
And there's Justin.
Speak of the devil, and he shall appear.
Is there going to be another one, Justin?
We don't want to put him on the spot or anything like that. But,
yeah.
You know, America wants to know.
America wants to know.
I took Justin. He played like semi-pro ball. We took him to play a softball game, and he struck out twice. I don't know what happened there. He was having a bad day.
Well, he's used to hitting the smaller ball, not the bigger ball. So we'll give him a pass. It's all right. So what does it look like for you guys? Actually, before I get to this question, I want to ask Jack, because I can't remember if have you crossed over the 1 year mark with your since you went to Espinosa. Okay. So obviously coming to Espinosa, you know, working for different places, you know, with there's different cultures at different companies. People do things a little differently, things like that. You know, what did you do to hit the ground running when you got to Espinosa, as far as, you know, working with the crew that was in place and you know, putting your contributions into a company that was already, you know, really making good cigars, and you know, how did you fit into that company culture when you got to Espinosa?
Well, I mean, getting back into the boutique world, it was a pretty easy transition. I mean, Eric is a yes guy, and if it's a good idea, let's go with it. There's not a lot of red tape. There's not a lot of different layers of people that you have to get approval from. This was my first time as in the role of national sales director, so had to hit the ground running, trying to, we immediately had a national sales meeting, and throughout the year we made a few minor changes, but we had a pretty solid team, and I think we got a pretty solid team moving forward once Rona decides to exit the picture.
Yeah.
But listen, Espinosa's where I wanted to be for a long time. Eric knows that. I mean, when Charlie sold the company in 2014, my first phone call was Eric for various reasons. But, at that time, it wasn't looking for a job, although it was in 2016. And then it was again in 2018 when I saw the writing on the wall with General. I always, there was really no other company I wanted to go work for, but Espinosa. I'm very fond of Eric.
It's funny. We sat down with Tarano. We were going to make a cigar for them before. And then when Hector and I were on our way there, we had the samples and stuff. And Jack called us, "Don't even come, dude. They sold the company." All right, we'll turn back around.
The actual meeting was that afternoon.
Oh, wow.
The one thing that was missing from Tarano's portfolio was a nice strong cigar. So we tapped into Eric and Hector and Espinosa to make a cigar for us, and we had gone through a few stages, and we had one of the final meetings coming up at 1:00 that afternoon, and at 8 a.m, the bomb was dropped on us, and I went to my office and called Eric, and it's like, yeah, don't come.
Abort.
So,
well, with projects like, working together with General on a project and working with some other, you guys have done a lot of collaborations with other groups. It could be a media group, it could be somebody else in the business, but where does the process start, and how do you guys approach something when you're going to start working with another company, whether it's General or AJ or some of the cigars you guys make for Dojo and stuff like that? How do you guys approach collaborations like that?
Well, most of the times, it comes to us. We're so busy, that for us to go out there and ask people, because it's not. Look, I'm a very prideful guy. I really am, and we're doing fine, outside this thing that's going on. But for me, I'm flattered when someone comes. I'm not that guy. I don't have an ego like some of these guys out there. We don't go searching or anything like that. But we have a lot of friends in the industry. You know what I'm saying? And the General project probably happened. I know Jack had a good relationship. Justin's a phenomenal, a phenomenal human being, and that came about just by sitting down talking, and that's the way things happen. We never pressed the issue. They never pressed it, and they just said, "Look, it happened. It happened." Sometimes I sit back and I wonder. I never wanted to have a factory, and we have a factory. That's not, what I love to do is sell cigars. That's what I was raised doing that. That's my forte, is selling, not blending, not making the cigars, not buying tobacco. They kind of throw you in all this. So for us to go back, people kind of seek us, and it's not being conceited or whatever. It's just it's true fact. We don't go out there and tell anybody, "Hey, let me make a cigar for you." That's not us.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody that comes, look, and there's people out there that hate me. You can ask Hector, because I've had like 2 or 3 people approach me, and they want to start off, and I love your cigars. Can you make me a cigar? And then this guy's not a store owner or anything like that. And I go, okay, so who are you going to sell it to? Well, I know a couple shops. Okay, once you sell it to those 2 couple shops, how are you going to continue selling the cigar? Do you have money to advertise? Do you have money to promote? Do you have an infrastructure? I go, save your money, bro. You're not going to succeed. We all know this is a tough business,
Yeah.
And I tell these guys, you're going to ask Hector. I've turned down, these guys. I don't want to take anybody's money, the hard work money, and I ask people, how much do you have to invest? Oh, I got 50 grand. Okay, this is what you do. Go to Vegas. Put it on black or red. Go to the roulette. It's a God honest truth. Put it on black or red. Okay, if you hit it, now you got 100 grand. Okay, put it again. Now you got 200. Do it again. You got 400. Okay, do it one more time. And if you win again, now you got 800 grand. Come see me, and maybe you'll be successful. Because it's very hard.
Yeah.
He's actually being pretty kind. He actually told the guy to go to the top of the roof of the building and just throw his money over the roof. Just throw it under he goes, how much you got? 50 grand? Just throw it away.
Because
somebody else would have just taken his money.
And that's not. I'm not that guy. I can't.
The guy walked away like a broke dick dog, but he's like, he told me to throw my money away. He goes, he's doing you a favor, kid. He's doing you a favor.
Listen, there's a guy in the industry right now. I'm not going to mention his name. Phenomenal human being. He asked me, what did I think? I said, don't do it. Don't do it. It's a lot of hard work, a lot of time away from the family. And listen, the truth is, do you ever see, you don't see a U-Haul behind a hearse. Never. It's not all about money. You got to really like what you're doing. If you want to make a quick buck, go in the stock market. If you're lucky, you made the money. Okay. So the guys in the industry, every time I see him at the, at the trade show, whatever, every time he walks by to me and he just looks at me, and the first thing he tells me, I should have listened to you. And he keeps walking. That's the only thing he tells me. I should have listened to you. Every year he tells me the same thing. I should have listened to you. And it is what it is. It's a wonderful business. We have a motto, if you love what you do for a living, you'll never work a day in your life.
Well, let me ask you this. This guy, and again, we don't have to mention any names, but is he dejected? Does he say I should have listened to you because he's not making the scratch that he was hoping to make, or just because he's working so much?
He's working so much,
okay.
And it's a combination. It's a combination. Listen, we're building a business here. Okay, I can tell you, it's very hard to make money. By the time you pay, your employees, you pay the light bill, you pay travel expense, you pay this. I don't care what nobody says, and I'm not embarrassed to say this because it's tough. It's tough. You got to get to a level that that. When your phone starts ringing and you don't have to call people, then you're semi-successful. It's easy to sell the first time because you walk in and people might, they might give you a pity order. You understand what I'm saying? And that's what we used to get sometimes. They might give you a pity order. Okay, here, dude, whatever. And then most people tell you, well, when they start asking me for the cigars, I'll start carrying it. And that's what happened in our industry. Thank God we're past that. But it's hard, and you can make the best cigar in the world, and it doesn't really matter how you're going to promote it. After you sell it to the 2-3 guys that how you going to continue selling that cigar?
Marketing.
Well, let me ask you this, Eric, and Hector. This is for you too. When let's go back early, and when did you? What was the first thing that happened? Whether it was something big happened on Cigar Aficionado, or one of the biggest retailers in the country made a huge order, something like that. What was the first thing that happened that made you say to yourself, "I think we've got something here"?
Well, I'm gonna jump ahead. and Eric won't admit it because he, like you said, he's a prideful guy. But I don't give a fuck. I'm ready. I'm at that point. I'm ready to retire, so I'm ready to start being honest all the time. When we go to our first show, there was some concern. He had been left for dead again, and we didn't have a booth. Eric had a good friend who gave him a space in the booth. I gave him his booth, and we were in the back, and it was a little depressing. But they came, they saw, when they saw him, bro, you're here. I didn't know you were here, and I really thought, I go, you know what, this is gonna make it. And then I think, in my opinion, what our first tipping point was Abe giving us the Bunker Buster, which was our very first, our first big exclusive outside of our original lines.
Yeah.
And after that, then that was January of the next year after we had started. But the show, I was very nervous going to the show. I didn't know what to expect. And Eric will tell you, the show he was nervous. I've never seen him nervous ever.
I'll tell you the story of what happened, because I don't know if you guys know my history, but I used to be a rep. I rep for many different companies. So we're going, this is 8 years ago. We're going, I think it was the Orlando show was our first show.
Our first show was Orlando. Yes, sir.
So I get there now, 10 o'clock comes around. Now, normally I have customers that I go and I take them to the Drew Estate, the Rocky, or whatever. Those are the companies I used to rep. And, now I got to wait for the customers to come to me. you know, and my son's there. And again, I'm a very prideful guy, and I'm sort of embarrassed. And I said, you know, it's 10 o'clock. I'm gonna go to the bathroom. I figure I hide in the bathroom a little bit, you know. So when I started leaving the booth, there was a guy shows up, Gary Griffith. He used to be part of the LJ Zuka, you know.
Yeah.
He goes, Eric, where you at? Where's your booth? I said, over there. He goes, come over. I need some stuff. I said, okay. So, you know, he tells me, look, I need 6 boxes of everything. Just write it up. 6 of everything you have. I said, wow, now you start feeling better about yourself. And then this is a great story, and I'll tell you guys, and I won't mention the name. So we had a decent first date. So we're actually right in front of the Corona store in Orlando, because Jeff put a big tent out there, you know, AC and all that. So here comes one of the guys in the industry. He's like one of the biggest buyer at the time for one of the biggest companies. So he's a little drunk. He goes, look, I'm going to support you. I'm not going to support your I don't want like to mention names, but I don't want to support the other guy. Yada yada yada. Do you have a price list on you? I said, no. He says, well, you know what? Give me 50 boxes. No, he goes to me. Give me what was he told me? No, give me 100 boxes of everything.
100 boxes of everything.
Give me 100 boxes of everything. Yeah, this is a big catalog company. Give me 100 boxes of everything. I said, okay, no problem. So now I feel great. You know, I feel like a rock star. You know, so I go the next morning. The guy shows up in the morning. So I'm sorry, he just got a text. So he tells me he comes in the morning and tells me, bro, I was banged up last night, and I know I gave you an order, and he says, and I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, dude, fuck. So he goes, do you remember what the order was? I said, yeah, you ordered 200 boxes of everything. He says, can we cut that a little bit? I said, what do you want to do? Can we do 150 of each? I said, yeah, okay, no problem. You know. So I
love it.
So, you know, ever since that, you know, and then the rest is history, you know.
That's awesome.
I love it.
Now, Jack, do you remember the first time you met Eric?
It was probably that Orlando show. I mean, I remember the first time. So Hector, we used to do a lot of Tarano events in Miami, and Hector used to come and sit. He'd just be sitting around. And one day I just started talking to him, and Hector, you know, his nickname's Mr. Warmth. And Hector has a great personality, and we talked for about 10 minutes. He introduced himself, and he says to me, I looked at him and I said, you know what, dude, me and you are going to be friends. And he was like terrified that somebody wanted to be a friend.
I had just finished seeing Oz, so you got to understand.
Me and you are going to be friends, buddy. And so I think shortly, I'd probably already met Eric by then. You know, I remember going by. They had a little booth, very close to the Tarano booth in Orlando. And I think you guys even came by our tent parties or something. We were throwing some tent parties.
We went to that tent party, yeah.
Yeah. So you know, as the years went on, Eric and I got closer and closer, and Eric's one of those guys. I mean, Eric will tell you that he's everybody that gets shit canned calls Eric for advice.
I don't know why, but
I've been that guy a couple of times.
Anybody who gets fired in Miami ends up in our office. It's like the ASPCA fired cigar people.
It's like the unemployment line.
It's the truth. I don't know why.
Eric is no nonsense, man. You want advice from Eric? He's no bullshit. He tells you. He tells it like it is, and that dude he knows more about this industry than anybody I've met. So Eric's always the first phone call, and I think we've been close for a long time. So I'm very happy where I am.
Awesome. How about the Hector and Eric origin story?
Oh, the Hector and Eric.
Hector's a cop. Hector gave me a ticket one time and for speeding, and you know, I didn't think I deserved it. You know, I was only doing 19 miles over the speed limit. No, Hector worked part time in a shop, in a cigar shop in Miami, and I would go in there and stuff, and we met. And then I took him down to Nicaragua one time, And
this guy's sitting in the back, and I'm like, who is that guy? And the guy tells me, oh, he's a rep. I go, well, shouldn't he be working like the humidor or something like that? He goes, nah, he reps Drew Estate and Rocky Patel. I actually got to go over there and talk to him for a while. So as we're talking, I Facebook friend him, and I'm like, man, me and him have a lot of the same friends, but not cigar friends. People from junior high. I'm like, how does? So he comes to the shop again. In Miami, we lived in Carroll City. I lived on one high school, and I went to the other. But all the feeder schools, we had friends that went to all of our feeder schools. So it kind of went from there. And then one day he just called me out of the blue, and
Hector had a hand in arresting a lot of Eric's friends.
Listen, I didn't grow up in the best neighborhood, and I don't mind, I didn't have the how would they say it, the best citizens, as friends growing up and stuff.
Role models, the best role models.
I didn't have the best role models, But Hector knew them all, though. Oh yeah, I arrested that guy in 2009. I arrested that guy, and this and that. It's funny, and I'm gonna say it. I don't care. I know we're live, but I'll say it. So they put Hector on the Fuente case when they stole the container, and Hector goes to my room. I got to talk to you. I said, what's going on? They put me in the Fuente case. I said, oh, congratulations. He goes, do I need to worry about you? What the fuck you got to worry about me for? No, any of your friends and shit? No, bro. Fuck, I don't know nobody who's fuck. How would I fucking know somebody who fucking did that?
Yeah,
go do your job, bro. I don't give a fuck. What the fuck you got to worry about me for?
Eric's like, brand new blends. It tastes really similar to this one Fuente. But
what the fuck? The fuck do I know? Who the fuck took that?
Fantastic.
So I'm over here watching the questions coming through, and Donald Waddell out of Huntsville, Alabama, cigar room over there. He says that I need to laugh. I need to smile more. So I'm smiling for Don Waddell. He's a good friend of ours.
When I was first on, I saw the questions. Now I can't see them for whatever reason.
I'm on a laptop, and then the phone is off to the side.
Yeah, okay. It's not as easy to see them on phones.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And when I first was on, I was just saying, but
somebody else.
When you couldn't hear us? When you couldn't hear us?
Yeah, when I couldn't hear you. It's funny. I've been with you guys for 30 minutes. As soon as it starts, boom.
I like Chad's question.
Here we got a viewer question from Chad. What got you your start in blending?
Hector.
Can you hear me? Can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yes.
All right. My start went like this. Hey, can you go to Nicaragua in 4 weeks? I go, okay, sure, let's go. He goes, no, you're going. And that's how it started. It started just like that because Eric might not want to admit it, but Eric, he's not crazy about traveling stateside. He's really not crazy about traveling to Central America. Ask him how much money it would take to get him to Honduras. Can you hear me?
You couldn't pay. You couldn't pay me enough. You couldn't pay me enough money to go to Honduras. I started a lot of these trips to factories and stuff. Back in the day, there was no trips, and I used to be the sales manager for Carib back in the day. Who Carib then became Camacho, and they sold the Davidoff. But Honduras is bad, man, and I used to go, and not just as bad. The airport there in Tegucigalpa is horrible. The plane, the landing there. And I said, look, I'm worth more, stateside, just doing events and shit. So we said that, but we did it the right way. Look, my son works with us, but before my son came on board, I told him he had to work at a retail shop to learn different brands and all that, know. And Hector no different. Hector took one for the team because I told Hector, look, one guy who I have a lot of respect for is Nick Balillo, because he worked with a lot of different types of tobacco. Because Drew Estate owned every single tobacco known to mankind. And so I told Hector, look, go down there and stay at Nick used to own a hostel. I don't know if he still does or not. Stay down there with Nick and pick his brain, bro. We can learn and all that, And then he did, and then, like everything, you don't know a lot when you're starting, and he learned and I learned and I think we've made some of the best cigars out in the market. It's a matter of opinion, but I love to cook, and I use good ingredients when I cook. I don't use cheap stuff, but when you have when you use good tobacco, you have a better chance of your cigar coming out better. No different than cooking. When you cook and if you use good ingredients, you have a better chance of your meal coming out better.
Yeah. Yeah. So I've heard from so many people, and I've been fortunate enough. Garrett hasn't been able to yet, but he will definitely someday. But I've been fortunate to be able to go to factories in different countries and see the process. And it's.
Where did you go?
So I've been to Nicaragua twice. I've been to Dominican Republic once. I've been to the factories in Nicaragua. I was at the Nicaraguan Cigar Festival in 2018. So I got to go to, Plasencia, my father, it was the second time I went to Drew Estate. I got to go to, quite a few different factories, small and big, and everywhere in between.
Nice.
And it's just so rewarding to see, for a cigar nerd like me, to be able to see the process and learn about, a lot of this stuff that's just for me and a lot of, people who watch cigar podcasts and stuff like this. They really appreciate the everything from the blending to the marketing to the relationships with the customers to events to everything, everything in between. And it's really just cool to hear about, the different, because every company does it a little bit differently. There's always going to be similarities because, when you find something that works, if it works for one company, chances are, depending on what it is, chances are it's going to work for another company too. But it's I just love learning about the little nuances that every company puts into their own brand. And being able to talk to guys like you about the way you put things together, it makes people excited about the products that we get to sit down and smoke every day.
Look, I'll tell you this, I don't know how other companies work, but we have a lot of fun when we're on. Our place is hilarious, and if it's not trivia, it's let me educate you on this. And now the newest thing is sports challenges. We have a lot of fun. We really do have a lot of fun, and we started in an 800 square foot warehouse where the humidor took up 3/4 of the warehouse, and we were all on top of each other. Yeah. And you know what? You would figure that's the kind of situation where you'd be at each other's throats. We had a blast. We've always had a lot of fun working together.
Until you don't go to the factory, you don't really understand, what is it that we do. And then people, a cigar $10. How can a cigar cost $10? Go to one of the factories, and then you'll understand why it costs what it costs.
Go take that tour from seed to cigar, and you'll be blown away that they only cost $10.
Yeah.
After going to factories, especially small factories, big factories are one thing, but going to small factories, I came home after seeing small factories for the first time where there's maybe 10, 12, up to 20 people in there. And I think to myself, it's a miracle these things don't cost $100 a piece. It really is.
Mm-hmm. And so, Hector, you go down and you talk with Nick Melillo. Anyone else that you kind of glean information from, or you set up?
It's it's hard. When Eric says pick his brain, that was different because Eric had a relationship with the guys from Drew Estate. I've managed to foster some good friendships down there with other cigar manufacturers, but it's there's a fine line between talking tobacco and not crossing over into so what are you guys doing that's different? What are right. You have to keep that line clear. But I think what's really helped me is that when I go down there, I'm just talking tobacco. And if I don't go over there to see Skip or to see Esteban or even talk to Carlos and his father who've got 70 years of experience, and when I'm in town, I go to me and Willie Herrera have a cigar every couple of weeks at his house. And even at the shop, the shop that I go to, my regular shop has become kind of a stop for guys in the industry. And the guys in the industry, when they're around other guys, they want to talk tobacco. Look, Eric will tell you Eric and Jack about 2 months ago, before this thing really broke, 2 or 3 months ago, Dion was in town. And Dion doesn't do events, but Dion was in town and he went to the shop and we went there, and Eric brought food, and we hung out with him, and it just gradually, you just start talking about tobacco.
Yeah.
This tobacco and that tobacco, and then when they start getting into the other aspects that I'm not really, the sales stuff and shops, that's kind of I'm not that I'm not comfortable. It's just not in my wheelhouse.
Mm-hmm.
But we're constantly talking about the industry, and I'm going to tell you, I've been in law enforcement for 31 years, and I've heard and seen great things and have funny stories, but cigar stories are just something out of this world. When these guys who used to be reps get together and they start talking and then start telling these stories, you just pee on yourself. It's just hilarious.
So here's a question for each of you guys. Let's start with Eric.
Dump. That's it. I don't have anything
Eric,
else.
if you had to Eric, if you had to pick one of the cigars from your line, from your core lines, that was your desert island cigar, your
L'Orange.
Okay. That's yours. Hector, what's yours?
We lost Hector.
L'Orange, he says L'Orange because L'Orange is our big hit. Can you hear me, bro? You guys can't hear me?
Yeah.
Now we got you.
This is some bullshit. All right, L'Orange.
You got to upgrade to the 20 gig program or something.
For me, it's Murcielago because Murcielago meant a lot to Eric, and not being able to do it right away because we couldn't get the material, and it's a cigar that we reverse engineered to come out with. That was a big deal. So I'm a really big fan of the Murcielago.
Yeah. Jack, what's yours?
Cubas. Jack smoked it. We don't make Cubas, Jack.
I'm a Connecticut guy, so I ended up at the right company. So
yeah, okay.
Queremos my daily smoke. Eric's big on. I think our portfolio is full of Connecticut's.
Absolutely.
Crema for me. I can smoke that all day long.
Okay.
Here's the issue that I have with Connecticut. I mean, look, I don't think there's enough flavor in Connecticut, like a lot of the other rappers. There is. I'm a big fan of Habano because Habano is not a dominant rapper, and what happens to Connecticut is a very bitter rapper. Unless you put enough oomph in there, it's not gonna. You're not gonna taste the inside, the binder, and the.
Which is what I love about Crema. Crema's got a lot of flavor to it.
Right. So it's a different Connecticut. In my opinion.
There's some guy named Skip chiming in here. He wants the hardcore fuck that
he wants
guy.
He wants to stir up some shit. Yeah. He's been on Facebook all day stirring up shit.
Oh, I love it. What's the hardcore topic? I guess it's Abe, right? We'll
no. What he wants to talk about, Hector, is fuck that guy.
Fuck that guy. The shop that there's two shops that we need to mention. The one that Eric Jr. and Hector worked at was Saguaro. We got somebody was asking that on that's Saguaro in Doral. But our home shop that we hang out at is Caribbean. And like Hector says, when we're in town, when I'm in town now I'm in town all the time, but we're in town on a Monday or a Tuesday, we usually hang out there, and a lot of the industry shows up there, and we've kind of dubbed it the fuck that guy show. Because if your ears are ringing and you're in the cigar industry, on a Monday night, it's coming from that shop. We're talking shit about everybody. So we've had Skip Martin's been a guest at one of our fuck that guy shows, and he brought it that day. He brought some great stories. He's been our MVP.
He stole an ashtray from that place one time.
He's the guy that stole the ashtray.
That's an inside joke.
That is the greatest.
The greatest story.
He knows what I'm talking about.
The greatest story ever told.
Story.
He didn't actually steal an ashtray, but it's a story behind that. He knows the story.
But he's known by that.
Hey, he needed an ashtray.
So do you guys actually get work done when you're together?
No.
Yeah, of course. No, you know what it is. Look, I'm a firm believer that I will never ask any of the guys to do something that I will do myself.
There you
So everybody has an input. You know what I'm saying? Look,
unless it's fly to Honduras, right?
yeah, unless it's like Honduras. You know,
go.
look, Jackson's charged with the sales team. You know, look, if he wants to do something, and I look at him, I tell him, if this doesn't succeed, well, it's on you. You know, be careful of the things that you wish for. You understand? But he's out there. I'm out there. I value their opinions. You know what I mean? Hector would look. Why don't we do a different size? Let's do this. Let's do that. I give them. But it's got to work. You understand? It's got to work. If not, it's on you. But I give everybody. We vote on things. Everybody. Everybody gives their opinion. I'm not that guy. Okay, it's my company. We're gonna do it this way. No, if it's a big decision, you understand. Because every time you do a brand, it costs a lot of money. Okay, between the artists, the bands, the dyes, the this, the that, everything costs a lot of money. So it has to be. We do studies on it. It's not just like, okay, we're gonna do this and bring it out there. No, we it has to be done the right way. Especially with my son around. Listen, that guy don't like to do nothing that's not done to perfection.
Yeah. So I assume that you guys right now, things at La Zona are quiet right now because of everything going on with.
It's quiet everywhere. I mean, the catalog companies are doing phenomenal. And look, kudos to them. But I want to see the brick and mortar succeed. Those guys always get hurt, for whatever reason, and we do things to try to help them. It's the truth. Look, I do events, through Zoom. We gather all their customers and we'll do events, run a special, what have you. We got to keep these guys afloat. There's not that many cigar shops in the country to begin with, and we got to keep these guys afloat. Whatever it takes, we got to do it.
And they're starving right now.
And I have a friend of mine, and I'm not going to mention his name because, this is illegal right now. But, because they made him close the shop. So I know a lot of their customers. And I told them, look, call all you guys. Let's run a special. Whatever it is, whatever you need to do to sell them a box that you're going to make some decent money. I'll throw in a 5-pack or whatever, whatever you need. Call them up. I'll ship it to you to the store. You wait for the UPS guy, take it to your house, and have them pick it up and pay you and what have you. We got to do whatever it takes. Okay.
Yeah.
You guys got to put up the Justin Andrews question.
Yep, absolutely, we do.
Is it true that Eric's sister really bought? Yeah, she is.
I mean, she thinks she is, and if you think perception is reality.
Nobody's going to argue that with her. Nobody's going to argue that with her.
Nobody's going to argue with her.
Listen, my sister's a tough.
The woman. Yeah, bro. The woman is unstoppable.
She works part-time with us. She's retired. She comes in. She does whatever it takes. She'll clean. She'll do whatever. She'll clean the bathroom. She'll clean the kitchen. She'll ban cigars. She'll do whatever it takes. So her pet peeve is anybody going through her drawers. Okay. So on her desk, she hates it. So we get Guy Fieri in the office the other day. Okay. So before all this thing started. So I told him I need a favor. He goes, "What's that?" I need you to. I'm going to videotape you. I want you because she's a big fan of Guy Fieri. She watches Diner, Dive In and Dive, whatever. Mm-hmm. So I go, I need you to go through her desk, all that, and sign her desk. Well, I got her on film doing all this. And then he signed the desk. So what did she do? She calls her husband to come pick up the desk for he can cut it and mount it on the wall. Their desk.
It cost Eric a new desk.
It cost me a new desk. She's got his signature on the wall in her house. It cost me a new desk. Hey, he's okay. He can go through all her shit, but if I go through her shit, all hell breaks loose.
And listen, we're not in the office now, but Jack's logged a lot of video time. Eric has logged an incredible amount of time, which I know is killing him. But since he is so bored, he's on. I saw him on a Michael's chat the other day talking about fabric and shit. He's just anything. I mean, you know,
Dude.
I'm spending hours with the bloggers. I mean, the media guys who have chat room. Because let me tell you something, and I firmly believe this: when this is over, when this is in our rearview mirror, the retailers and the consumers will remember who sat through this with them. And
100% true.
I truly believe that.
Dude, I was so bored that I think Sunday I turned on the TV and I put a DVD, an old DVD. It wasn't a porn, but it was like from a strip club, and I started making it rain on the TV. You know, it was a strip club, and I just started throwing dollar bills on the TV. Dude, you know? The good thing is I got it back. You know, I got the money back. But,
We've done a ton of these shows, and we're doing more and more virtual events. Right as the show started, I was getting texts from a shop in San Diego that asked me if I was available at noon their time on Wednesday to do a virtual event, and it was like, yes, absolutely, absolutely.
That's been so cool because I've seen. I mean, obviously, cigar media guys like us and Coop and Dojo and those other guys have been doing shows like this for a while, but it's great to see. This is kind of all this stuff going on has kind of forced a lot of cigar companies to reevaluate the way that they're interacting with their customers, because you can't be at every event, you can't be at every shop around the country. And this way we have these virtual tools to be able to interact with customers and interact with retailers.
Awesome.
A lot of people haven't been taking advantage of it, and I think this is kind of forcing a lot of companies.
Listen, you might see that end of it stick around.
Absolutely.
After Rona's gone. So.
Yeah.
Well, we even talked, we have a really active group here in the Twin Cities. Super fortunate to have awesome cigar culture here. And we've got, a handful of us that get together, I want to say, 4 or 5 nights a week to have a virtual herf.
Yep.
And we're playing, games on Zoom and just getting together. And,
can you send us the link?
Absolutely. Absolutely, I will. And
I mean, talked about some of them. You're not seeing a lot of these on Facebook because a lot of these guys have their, they're just virtually herfing. I was on last night. I'm on last night with it's on Fon's birthday's yesterday. He can't celebrate his birthday because of Corona.
I had
he sent me a link like at 10:30 at night.
So he sends me a link, and Eric's gonna get a kick out of this. I go on the link, and his boss is on there. Jonathan Drew's on there. But while these guys are talking, Jonathan's cooking. And then he's cooking and he's talking to us like we're supposed to stop and see that he's cooking eggplant, and he was just in a zone yesterday. But you know what? That's cool. That's cool. We're gonna remember this. We're gonna remember all the bad shit that we're going through, and hopefully none of us will suffer a personal loss.
You're breaking up, Hector.
But
we just suffered a loss.
We're gonna time around the herf.
You gotta get closer to your neighbor's house.
Incredible.
So, just to let you guys know, I've Jonathan Drew's given me about I say about 20 yo-yos. You guys know what yo-yos are, right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so he texts me about every 2 weeks, and he'll text me, "Yo," and I go, "What's up, John?" And he won't respond, and then 2 weeks later, "Yo," I don't respond. 2 weeks later, "Yo," and I call him back. So I got about 20 yo-yos that he's giving me. Now him and I are real good friends, man. He's a real good guy, and I'm real proud of what he's accomplished.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Shall we move on to?
Yeah. Well, let me ask one thing really quick. Before we move into our next segment, obviously everything's in flux. Most things are getting canceled. The PCA has not made any announcements about cancellation of the Summers Trade Show. I honestly don't know one way or another. I have my own feeling that it's going to be canceled or postponed, but
there's no doubt about that. When they cancel the Olympics and they cancel the U.S. Open and they cancel Wimbledon, and that's all those are in July. I mean, the Wimbledon is I think late June. This ain't happening, bro.
So if you guys, obviously, without a show, do you guys have some plans, some ideas you're putting together to kind of make up the ground that you would normally gain at the trade show?
Well, it's hard to plan right now for that because we're not all together, and it's hard. I don't think anybody's planned, but I mean, I'm sure we'll run a special just like everybody else. The Ghost trade show special or whatever. But I mean, we got to do what we got to do to survive, just like everybody else. But our main focus is when all this is said and done, we got to take care of the retailers. I have a lot of friends out there that own shop. We got to see them succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's our goal. If giving them a special will help, then by all means, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and absolutely, I think it's hard to expect after a 2 or 3, maybe 4 month hit that retailers are going to take, that they're going to have the money to go and participate in a trade show. So I'm on board with that. That show's going to be. I don't think it's going to be postponed. I think it's going to be canceled. Yeah, I think we might not see a PCA in 2020.
Yeah, I think
they're going to. I think they'd be well served to retool for 2021.
Yeah.
Welcome back. A regroup. Thanks. A regroup wouldn't hurt.
Yeah, it wouldn't hurt. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because there's a lot of. I mean, obviously, before all this, there was a lot of other drama going on before coronavirus about the PCA trade show in general. So maybe this is again not. This whole coronavirus thing is horrible, but if you're able to take any little blessings in disguise out of it and turn it into something good, maybe the PCA can use this as a time to really dig into what they're doing and make things better. So. Maybe that can be good.
We did the TPE for the first time in at the end of January, and we're going to do it again next year. And I think if the PCA goes away, we'll put out some new releases this year. But I think we'll probably gear some of that stuff toward TPE.
Yeah, and that makes sense. That makes sense.
Gear up.
Yeah. So guys, let's move into this week's smokabulary word. So smokabulary every week is brought to you by AJ Fernandez. Born and raised in Cuba, AJ Fernandez now produces unparalleled premium cigars in Esteli, Nicaragua. The day-to-day operations at Tabacalera AJ Fernandez are managed under the watchful eye of Mr. Fernandez himself in order to ensure superior quality. The AJ Fernandez portfolio of premium cigars provides blend, strength, and flavor profiles to match the preferences of any premium cigar consumer. Whether it's New World, Dias de Gloria, San Latano, Enclave, or Bellas Artes, you are sure to be satisfied with a premium cigar from AJ Fernandez. So, guys, this week's smokabulary word is culebra.
Culebra.
So, you guys know what a culebra is. It's the little beautiful braided cigar that comes usually 3 to a coffin.
Absolutely.
Have you guys ever made one?
No.
Yeah.
No, I know exactly what it is, but we've never made one. I mean, I think it's more of a novelty. Not too many people smoke that. I mean, when I used to be at Jewish Stage, I know they had one. I think it was called Medusa or something like that. And I'm sure you guys know where that all generated from. In Cuba, how they allow you to take one cigar home, and that was a way of them taking 3 cigars with them. But I think it's very gimmicky. And not too many people smoke them, and
right.
I don't think we'll ever make one, but you never know.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was true or if that was just an urban legend about the fact that that was sort of created to limit the people to only take 3 home a day.
Well, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, I don't know either or, but I never worked in the factory or stuff. But
and the cigar they're taking home better have a big curve in it.
Right, exactly.
That was done so they wouldn't resell when they got home, But that was old Cuba, not now. Now they're stealing them blind out of the factory.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's this week's smokabulary word brought to you by AJ Fernandez. And now it is time for Numero de los Muertos.
All right, guys. Here, can we get the copy?
Oh, yes.
Numero de los Muertos is brought to you by Oveja Negra Brands. Oveja Negra Brands brings you premium smoking experiences forged from tobacco, time, and talent. Comprised of Black Label Trading Company, Blackwork Studio, Dissident, and Emilio. Oveja Negra brands provide smokers uncompromising blends renowned for their flavor and lasting impression. Oveja Negra, where art and tobacco collide. Join the flock. Visit ovejanegracigars.com to learn more. All right, guys, every week we do this fun little thing where I give a number of how many people have died and give some parameters, and you have to guess, and the people watching can also guess as well. This week's number is 27. People died between 1970 and 1977 in North America and Canada.
From this. So, guys, we all get to guess, and our viewers and listeners get to guess as well. So, if you have anything, throw those guesses in the comments. So, between 70 and 77, 27 people in North America died from this.
Quaaludes.
That's a good answer. That's actually a really good answer.
That's a good answer.
That's low. That's a low number.
That's a little low.
I'm gonna say something obscure. Maybe a Coke machine fell on them or something like that.
That's a good one. We did. That was one of the early ones that I did. Vending machines falling on people. I think it's like 12 a year in the United States. That is not correct.
Wow.
Choking on a corn dog. Richie is not choking on a corn dog. Good guess.
Not ice cream, not elevators, not
Do we get any hints? Or
we will
we will as we,
So let's think about that time period, 70 to 77. Listening to Carly Simon music.
Nope.
You had a lot of air piracy. You had a lot of air piracy at the time.
That's true.
A lot of demonstration.
Oh yeah, you did have a lot of Vietnam demonstrations. Yep.
People who could have died at concerts.
I want to.
It wasn't Legionnaire's disease.
I would guess people who Forrest Gump killed.
Yeah, Legionnaire's disease killed a bunch of people. That was in Philadelphia.
No,
I'm
sir.
gonna need some help. I'm gonna have to phone a friend, bro.
Elvis Presley.
No, Donald, it was not Elvis Presley.
It was not Elvis Presley. All right. This this happened as an accident.
Did all these deaths happen at one time, or it happened during a span of like a couple of years?
Oh,
from
yeah.
70
No, from 70 to 77.
And it was an accident?
Yep.
Was that during
that Woodstock was what year?
69.
69. Was that when was 3 Mile Island? Was that late 70s? Was it 3 Mile Island?
No,
was it Love Canal?
Changing light bulbs.
It is not changing light bulbs.
Jim
It
Jones.
wasn't Love Canal?
No, there was a lot more than
that was
27.
hundreds of people died. Yeah, there was hundreds of people died there.
So 27.
So it's not the Love Canal?
Mm-mm.
And it was an accident. Was it one big accident, or was it okay? Was it related to any war?
No.
Getting crushed at a rock concert.
That's a good guess.
That is a really good guess.
A lot back then.
It did, but that is not correct.
Zamboni machine accidents.
It's a good guess.
What's that?
Hector's guess is actually the closest. I don't want to lead you off a trail or into a rabbit hole.
Is it related to hockey?
It is not.
Not related to hockey.
It's related to snow.
It is not. It's related to a vehicle.
A vehicle.
A
snowmobile.
Snowmobile accidents.
No. Seatbelt usage is good, Chad, but not correct.
What was it? A four-wheeled vehicle?
Yes.
Was it?
Death died in dune buggies.
Not in dune buggies.
Jeeps.
Nope, not Jeeps.
ATVs.
Nope.
Snowmobiles.
Nope. Not a gas pump accident.
Were these vehicles on regular roads?
Yes.
Or off? So they were on regular roads?
Yes.
And it only
driving off the Pacific Highway?
No, sir.
They were run over by their own vehicles?
No.
That's a good guess.
Mark Sharp.
Okay, we got a viewer.
Oh, they died in Ford Pintos.
Oh, that is a great guess.
Good guess, Mark.
Ford
Pinto fires.
Is that what it is?
It is. 27 people died between 70 and 71, or 1970 and 77 in a Pinto.
Wow.
And their families are very rich.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, they are.
Man, I totally forgot about the Pinto fires back then. It was what was it? Was the gas
tank in the back.
Tank in the back? Yeah.
So that is this week's Numero de los Muertos.
Our modeling moment was brought to you by
By Pinto.
By Pinto.
by Ford.
So, guys, here's a lightning round question for each of you. I'm going to start with Jack on this one. If you could choose to hear the thoughts of one living person for 10 minutes, who would it be and why?
Oh, that's a great question. God damn it.
I would say Michael Jordan.
Oh, I love it.
That's a great answer.
That is
great
a fantastic answer.
Eric, what about you?
Martin Luther King.
Eric.
He's not alive.
No, what was the question? I thought he said dead
living
alive.
person.
One living person. You could hear their thoughts for 10 minutes.
If I can hear their thoughts for 1 minute, wow, that's great.
10
I thought it was that's a good. Wow, I want to keep it in basketball. I would say Dr. J. Listen, I'm not starstruck, and I've met a lot of people in my life, and I've yet to meet Dr. J. And I was a huge fan of Dr. J.
I met him at the Big Smoke last year.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. Hector, what about you?
Gary Busey.
You're brave.
If I'm gonna have 10 minutes of crazy, I want it to be crazy, funny shit. Gary Busey is fucking crazy.
Yes,
that is a great answer.
It was between Gary Busey and Courtney Love. So I was gonna go with Gary Busey.
I love it.
That's a great answer. So next question, and we'll start again with Jack. If you were about to get into a fight, what soundtrack music would come on?
Well, the obvious choice is "Eye of the Tiger," but
Yeah.
"Live and Let Die."
Oh, that's a great answer.
Nice.
Great one.
Beatles or Guns N' Roses?
Beatles or Guns N' Roses?
Beatles. Always the Beatles.
Actually, was that McCartney without the
It was
Beatles?
McCartney.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
Yep.
it was Wings.
So, Eric, what's your answer?
I'm on a highway to hell.
Oh, great.
AC/DC.
Great answer. Hector, what's yours?
Thunderstruck by
Another AC/DC.
Very good answer. Very good answer. All right. So start again with Jack on this one. Choose one of the following. You could hit a home run as a starting pitcher, score a touchdown as a defensive lineman, or score a goal in a hockey game as the goalie.
Score a touchdown as a defensive lineman.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Yep. Great answer. Eric, what's yours?
Home run as a pitcher.
Yep. That's is that the most popular answer? No, it's not. It's not. So Hector, what's yours?
I think don't get me wrong, I'm a big fan of pitching, and there are some pitchers who've hit home runs. They're not as exciting as when a defensive lineman scores a touchdown.
Right.
When a defensive lineman scores a touchdown, he goes through every dance he's ever seen in his life.
That's
I'm gonna go with that. I'm gonna go with the defensive lineman scoring a touchdown.
Yeah.
Love it.
So if you guys could give one piece of advice to a brand new premium cigar consumer, what would it be?
Go to Vegas.
No, he said consumer. He said consumer.
Did he?
Consumer. Yeah, consumer.
Enjoy the industry, man. There's so many good cigars out there. And, listen, I want Espinosa to be in your rotation, but we enjoy this industry. We're all geeks at heart. We have a passion for this industry. Absolutely get out there and try different brands, different blends. But remember, always come back to that Espinosa.
Yeah.
Oh, it's no different. I would tell them to try. There's a lot of great cigars out there. Don't go because you heard of a brand or what have you. Make your own decision on it. Try different products, and and always enjoy different cigars. There's a lot of great stuff out there. Don't stick with one cigar. Try different things.
Absolutely.
Well, obviously, since they already told them to smoke Espinosa every day, I tell them when you go to a shop, don't finger fuck the cigars.
There you go.
Amen.
Don't lick your ashtray before borrowing your friend's cutter.
Right. Don't lick your be courteous at the shop, but don't.
You should boil. You should boil that.
Yeah.
You should boil that cutter.
Yeah. Yeah. I got the blowtorch over there. It's gonna hit this thing pretty quick.
That's my bad. Party foul.
So if you guys could give one piece of advice to a brick and mortar retailer, what would it be?
Bring in Espinosa.
Yes.
Outside of the softball,
that one's easy for me. Don't worry about what nobody else is doing. Worry about what you got to do. Forget about your competition. Focus on what you got to do.
There you go.
What's the question again? I'm sorry.
If you were to lose weight and you needed it was either keto,
he's always got to go there. He's always got to go there.
Keto, Atkins, or what was the other one?
South Beach?
Yeah, South Beach diet. Which one would you choose?
I think I'd tell the guy who opens up a store.
You knew the fucking question. Why the fuck?
Yeah, because I wanted to see if you would be that guy. You're on here telling everybody you're not that guy, but you're that guy, bro. You're that guy.
I love it.
Yeah, you know what? It's hard to be this big and this sexy. Listen,
somebody's got to do it, man.
What I would tell a retailer outside of the obvious, cater to your customers, baby. Cater to your customers.
Mm-hmm.
Cater to your customers.
Yep.
There you go.
Every cigar shop in the country has their core base, which kind of drives their sales. You got to cater to them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
That one guy that comes in and says, "What? You don't have brand X?" And a lot of retailers are like, "No, but I'll get it. I'll get it." And that guy never comes back.
Yeah. Yeah. So, guys, each week we do a couple cigars. We do a segment called Notable Smokables. These are just a couple cigars that we smoked over the last week or so that we thought were interesting. It could be something that's been on the market forever or something that's brand new. And if you guys want to chime in, I encourage that. I'm going to start actually with a cigar that was gifted to me by a buddy of mine, also named Matt, in the Minnesota Herf Connection, and he collects old cigars. And he's one of the rare cats, which is cool, that collects cigars that are old, that are not Cubans, and those are harder and harder to find. But he gave me one of the Hoyo de Monterrey 135th anniversary cigars. It's the short Robusto with the cedar sleeve on it, and it's, I think, from 98 or 99, somewhere in that neighborhood. And I got to tell you, 20 plus years later, there was still definitely some life in that cigar. It had some good flavors cooking, definitely a ton of cedar because it's been sitting in that cedar sleeve for 20 years, but really, really nice little cigar. So thanks, Matt, for that one.
And one of mine was I had an Asylum 13 that Quentin had gifted Matt and I, and I'll give you a couple of these as well.
Thank you.
Yeah. They were a vent only cigar, and it was delicious.
Nice. So for you guys, obviously you smoke a lot of Espinosa cigars, but and if there's, obviously one of those you want to give a shout out for.
I got two.
Yeah, go for it.
So I've been going through the humidor, and I opened up a box. It's like 20 years old. The first blend that Carlos Terrano worked on was a blend called Vuelta Abajo, made by the Cuevas family, Luis Cuevas, and made in the DR. And we opened up that box. Incredible. They're smoking unbelievably. And again, I have a lot of old Terrano stuff. I have a 12-year-old box of Exodus 59 gold in the tubes. And Hector was actually here a couple weeks ago, and we smoked a couple of those, and that's the 12-year-old box, smoking incredibly.
I'll tell you the best cigar, one of the best cigars ever made. I have two also, but one of the best cigars ever made in our industry, and I'll argue this with anybody. One was the Macanudo made in Jamaica.
Those are great cigars.
Those cigars,
yes,
and
underrated.
And the other one was the Bahia Gold.
Oh yeah,
those Bahia Golds were phenomenal, and I think Justin gave me two of those, and that's what gave me the inspiration to do that reggae cigar. You know, that Macanudo Jamaica is out of this world.
Yeah,
I had just the other day. I was gifted a box of the new TAA that our friend there, that AJ's doing, the new Bella Salte TAA.
Oh yeah.
And
I got gifted some of those too.
I gave some to Jack and I gave some to Eric, and I thought that was a really good cigar.
Outstanding cigar.
But it's not old though.
Not old, but I don't have a lot of old cigars because the last old cigar I smoked a couple of days ago during one of these herfs. In my humidor, I had a Puros Indios that had to be at least. I've been on 31 years, so this cigar has to be 1993 or 1994. It was a short bellicoso.
It was your last one, right?
It was my last one. It was my last one, and that's an inside joke too, because that's an inside joke too.
Hector's the cigar hoarder at the office.
Yeah, so you ask him, look, this blend, it comes out great. I go, Hector, you have one of those? Yeah, okay, but this is the last one. And then 3 days later, you see him smoking one. I thought it was your last one.
It was the last one I had for you. And and that's going to change because I don't want to say who. But somebody, there's a humidor in my office with a bunch of surplus cigars and stuff that we were going to make that we didn't make, and just other samples. But for some reason, that door never seems to stick. It never seems to close. So there's a huge sign on it that I put on last week that says, "Please close the door." And when I went in a couple of days ago, guess what? The door was still open. So we're having a hard time keeping those humidified. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Eric's going to say, "I don't know what you're talking about. It wasn't me."
The ghost of past time. It was the
ghost of cigar past. But yeah, I had like a 26, 27-year-old. It didn't taste hardly. It had no strength at all.
Yeah.
But it burned really well, and it really did conjure up some good memories because the other cigar I wish I could have shared, but I smoked the last one last year. I had an Crédito.
Hey, we got to give a shout out. Eric Jr. just chimed in. He took a break from Call of Duty to join us.
Oh, did he? I didn't see it.
He's becoming a Green Beret on that Call of Duty.
He's a superstar on Call of Duty.
I think the only guy whom I know is a Credo is Jack and Eric. I mean, you smoked that Credo, right, Eric?
Oh yeah, I've had it before.
Yeah, the old glory. They were the old Gloria seconds that you could pick up at the factory for 74 cents.
Yeah.
You get a bundle for $16. So, I mean, you couldn't beat that. So those are the last two old cigars I smoked that were really good.
Eric Jr. says he got shot, so he's here with us.
I wonder if that was his buddy Mike Denny's who shot him.
So there's a question back here actually that I want to bring in from a viewer. How do you guys think this is going to affect cigar prices? This whole Corona thing, if at all. I mean, it's sure to in some way, shape, or form. What do you think is going to happen with that?
That's John. This is also Mr. Esponza. What was I going to tell you? Look. Here's the thing. Right now, it hasn't been that long. You understand? Now we don't know how long this is gonna. I don't think it'll affect prices that much, but if anything, it'll go down, not up, because you got to do anything you got to do to survive. You got to sell the cigar at whatever price you got to sell it to survive, to make a little bit of money.
Yeah.
Because you
got to do what retailers and manufacturers might take a little hit on margin, but you got to get your crowd back.
Yep.
Well, I think I agree with what Eric and Jack are saying about, we're gonna have to make some kind of changes. But my fear is the countries that have shut down, like Nicaragua is not working now for the next couple of weeks. The Dominican has been shut down for a couple of weeks. Honduras has been shut down for a couple of weeks. The governments in those countries exist on, they make money off the taxes
Hector,
generate.
I don't mean to cut you off. Guys, I need 3 minutes because I have a good friend of mine that's got the coronavirus and he's in intensive care and his son keeps calling me. Just give me 3 minutes.
No, absolutely, brother.
And I'll come right back on. Okay?
Absolutely.
I'll come right back on. Sorry.
Yeah.
I think that we may, the countries that depend on cigar production as for part of their tax base, they're not happy that they're not making any money.
Right.
And there's going to be a cost that I'm sure there'll be an increased cost to us. But I agree with what Jack and Eric are saying. There's going to have to be some margin corrections because, there are going to be people who have been unemployed, people who are, nobody really expects to make any money off this stimulus. The stimulus is supposed to be a crutch, not something for you to bank. For you to bank these weeks that you're not going to be working, depending on what state you're in.
Yeah.
So I think that I think that we will see an increase. But I'm pretty sure that I don't think that will be passed on.
Yeah. And in the end, it all comes down to, and regardless of what you're producing and selling in this country and a lot of other countries, it all is going to come down to how long this is going to take to play out. If it plays out in another 6 weeks, that'll affect things one way. If it plays out in another 6 months, that'll affect things a whole different way. So we just have to wait and see, and
right now we're battling uncertainty.
Yeah, exactly. So we just have to keep, just everybody take care of your own business, your own families, your own work, your own whatever it is that you have to do, and let other people worry about their own selves. And we're gonna get through this thing together. It's a crazy time, man, that we live in right now. It's kind of unprecedented as far as, but we're really fortunate that although there's a lot of hardship going on and there's a lot of people sick and a lot of bad things going on. We're really fortunate that we live in a time that we have very good medical care quality, even in places that aren't necessarily as fortunate as the U.S. Medical care is far more advanced than it ever has been. And, we have technology like this where we can at least stay in touch with people. We can stay have open lines of communication and be able to still, catch up with families, catch up with friends, things like that. I go back to, when things like this happened early in the 20th century, it wasn't so easy as it is now. We can still go and get groceries. We can still go and get gas for our cars. We can still go and, grab a cigar out of our humidors and, sit on the porch for a little while and just sort of focus on that cigar for a little while and, get our heads straight again before we have to go back into, fighting the fight, as it were. So
let me tell you about gas. I filled up my car 3 weeks ago. It's still full.
Yeah. It's and prices are, it's
$1.55 a gallon.
Laws of economics are coming into play. It's when supply is high and demand is low, prices drop, and prices have dropped like crazy. Although I gotta say, I'm pissed off about my local gas stations because prices have not dropped nearly as much in my community as they have literally 10 minutes away. So
I'm at 165
back.
Yeah.
Sorry, guys.
No, it's all good.
He didn't answer. It was a good friend of ours. He asked me. I've been talking to him every day, and he asked me not to mention his name, so I won't. So, he's a big Lazona guy. Good friend of the company, and and then his son-in-law called me, but he didn't answer the phone for a reason. I guess he's taking care of, But he told me that they moved him to ICU. So they gave him. I spoke to him yesterday. I told him. He told me they gave him that what is that, malarium pill or whatever it's called.
Yep.
Yeah, so all we can do is pray now,
Yeah. Well, we wish him the best. We wish everybody out there that's, dealing with this in some way, shape, or form. We wish everybody the best. just real quick, I want to give everybody an idea of some stuff we have coming up in the next couple of weeks. Next week, we've talked about this already, but I want to give everybody another reminder. Next week, instead of our regular night Tuesday, we're going to be on Monday the 13th, and we're going to have none other than Cigar Coop himself, Will Cooper, and we're going to have him right here on the show.
Do you have a pink Cadillac for him?
Yeah. And so that'll be Monday the 13th instead of Tuesday the 14th. Tuesday the 14th is my wife's birthday. That absolutely takes precedence over the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
And then a week later.
Come on, bro.
I know, right?
What are you going to do?
Tell him, Eric.
There's not much you can do, bro. What are you going to do?
Tell him, Eric. Tell him. Tell him. Tell him.
You can't take a bowling, bro. What are you going to do?
I already gave her a birthday present today, so what are you going to do?
Good.
And then a week following on the 21st. Exactly. I realized as I was saying that, I was like, oh no, here we go. So on the 21st, we're going to have Klaus Kellner from Davidoff on the show. And then closing out the month of April, we're going to have none other than Dave Garofalo from Two Guys Cigars and the Cigar Authority podcast live on How About That Cigar on Tuesday night. So
never heard of him.
No, who's that?
So that's
I think he's been mentioned the Caribbean on Mondays.
I'm telling you, one of these days you guys have to start recording those episodes.
No.
We'll never work in the industry again.
As a matter of fact, when Skip was there, he would start every story with, "If anybody is recording this, I will kill them." And he would look around to make sure nobody had their phone up.
I'm not saying you should ever air it. I'm just saying you should record it.
Oh no, you can't. We can't have that out there.
No, you can't have out there. Look what happened to Nixon. Can't have that. Did you guys see Maximus? Did you guys look at Eric's dog?
No.
You guys ever seen a dog? You ever seen a dog with no neck?
He looks like what is that sea creature? The manatee. He looks like a manatee.
That dog,
Jabba the Hutt.
That's my boy.
That dog is big. That is a heavy. That dog weighs more than my Doberman.
Hey, listen, I want to give a shout out. To Abe. Yeah. Abe from Smoke Inn is watching.
Yeah.
In the days that I'm looking for stuff to entertain myself, his quarantine quarrel today on Facebook was spectacular. So I want to give him a shout out.
I gotta check it out.
I thought the picture of him painting his wife's toes was pretty good too.
Like real men.
He had a painted thumb.
Listen, he dressed in drags. He painted his wife's toes, and Tiger King is his best flicks right nowadays. So real men don't do it. I already had to sit down with him.
You had to sit down with Abe?
I had to sit down with him, bro. He says he's bored.
Let me ask you, does he have a dollar bill signed by you?
I got Abe to have zero. I got a 20 and a 5. So I'm in Vegas.
You have some of his money?
Wow. I got two, a 20 and a 5. I was in Vegas at the TPE and I ran out of money. So I was this close to putting it in a slot machine, Abe's signature and stuff like that.
No. You got to keep that, brother. You got to keep those.
I want a few guys that has his signatures.
Well, we want to roll out the red carpet and ask, what you guys have in the works. What things can we expect if, assuming that the trade show isn't going to happen? Anything that you can give us about any new products coming on the line?
Yeah, we're definitely going to do a Warhead. And then, we had a lot of things. We had ideas and we were going to do it, but everything, came to a halt because of all the stuff that, all this stuff. So, Hector was on his way to Nicaragua, to blend some stuff. And, we had to put it in the back burner because of all this stuff. So, we don't have any information for you, but we're definitely doing a Warhead. And let's see what else, we're just going to have to wait and see because we haven't been able. It's tough to create something when, you don't have the tools to do with.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
And then I wanted it to your listeners. I want to tell them, I know my son's listening. Listen, we do have a club, the Elite Club. That's had to wait also. We send a letter out to all the members and everybody's going to get what we promised. It's just going to take a little bit longer because of this, and I'm sure a lot of people understand.
Yeah, everybody understands. Everything's delayed right now, so everybody's got to be patient. But there's the cigar culture, fortunately, is still really active, and there's still a lot of people getting together online and busting balls and doing the things that cigar people do, which is good. We got to keep that culture going.
And if you don't understand, you can call Eric's sister.
There you go. Yeah.
We set up a customer service line to her desk. We're not getting any trouble at all. We're not getting any issues at all.
So give everybody a final shout on where they can go to learn more about Espinosa Cigars.
EspinosaCigars.com, our website, obviously the Facebook page, our Instagram, and right now Eric Jr., Eric Sr., Jack, myself, Richie Otero, Tim Wong, Tony Gomez are the guys who broker for us as well. They're remaining very active on social media. So you'll see, Eric's running. I think tomorrow Eric's running a special at a shop in Ohio because we gotta, we gotta help our people. You gotta stay true to your shul. So we're constantly doing these virtual herfs. There won't be a day that you won't see Eric on because Eric, like I said, this is the longest we've seen him sit anywhere since I've been with him in 8 years.
I'm going crazy.
This is killing him.
I don't know what else to do.
This is the kind of shit. This is the kind of stuff that reminds you never to commit a crime because you can never. He would never be able to do isolation.
He leaves his house and goes to the office at 9 a.m. and just sits there in his office
every day.
I called him this morning at 9. He was sitting in his office.
He's rearranged his office. He's rearranged his office like 6 times. It's just crazy. But all of us are super active on the virtual herfs, and we've been going to all the different rooms. I host myself, and I bring on Jack, and we're everywhere. So if you want to
listen,
learn,
we're really active even when the coronavirus isn't happening. So you could reach out to any of us, and you'll probably get an answer within 5 minutes. Anything you need to know about Espinosa.
Good deal. Well, guys, thanks so much for spending some time with us on this Tuesday evening.
Thanks for having us, guys.
Thanks for having us. I appreciate it.
All right. And for all our viewers and listeners, as always, if you have any questions, email us directly on the website, howaboutthatcigar.com. You can also send us questions on Facebook. And until we see you next time, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Take care, guys. See ya.
Peace.